everybody. I'm Laura Kusumoto, XR Program Manager for Meta, and I have a very long history of working with emerging technologies, including VR. My journey to develop mental health-related applications in VR started back in 2007, when I supported developing a pilot with Dr. Walter Greenleaf, who is here today, developing the technology to show how 3D virtual worlds could be used in behavioral health therapy. Fast forward to 2020, I got this dream job at Meta, working in the enterprise engineering organization that supports and develops the technology that we all use internally. I now lead the XR Hub, a team dedicated to integrating XR into the way that we work every day. So before we delve into the well-being focus, I would like to give you some context on what XR Hub does. We're exploring a really wide variety of applications of XR to benefit Meta and our workers. So here's a video with a sneak peek of the XR Hub via some samples of our work. Can you play the video, please? All right, so that was the peak of several different projects there. So in this quest for well-being in VR, XR Hub is working in partnership with another group in Meta called LifeAt. So now let's meet Renee Albert from LifeAt.
Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it. So I'm Renee Albert, and I'm the Senior Director of Health and Wellbeing, which is actually a part of our HR benefits function. I've been working in employee benefits for over 20 years. I'm a little afraid to say that. But I've actually been at Meta for almost 9 at this point, and actually this is one of the most exciting journeys I've been on. I was responsible for actually launching LifeAt, which is how we brand our employee benefits back in 2014. Our mission is actually to make sure that we care for you while you're bringing the world closer together. LifeAt includes everything from health, financial, time-away programs, and also bringing you and your family together to create opportunities to connect with one another. Our vision is to evolve our enterprise well-being strategy and incorporate our products to advance the experience of health and well-being across our people. One part of that strategy is actually working with XR Hub to exploit the superpowers of XR. We can go to the next slide. Yep. So surprisingly, there's a reoccurring theme around exploitations of VR for the enterprise, and there's an interest in well-being related applications. It turns out that because there is an expanding marketplace for wellness related applications of wellness, we have the opportunity to support employee productivity by using them. In fact, maybe it's about time we think about how we integrate employee well-being as part of our jobs. Many studies point to employee well-being as the most significant predictor of productivity. For example, a study done by the Health Enhancement Research Organization found that employees who exercised at least 3 times a week have a 15% increased productivity and performance than those who live a stagnant lifestyle.
Absolutely. So, in the pandemic, as with so many other aspects of life, the clicker's not working. And we have alarms going off in the room.
Yes.
So on the front, can you advance the slide?
There we go.
So as with so many other aspects of life, 74% of Americans used at least one digital fitness app during quarantine. So I want to ask a question here. Can any of you relate to this? Did you start using digital fitness apps during the pandemic? Yeah, I did too. So moreover, 56% of Americans enjoyed their home workouts so much that they planned to cancel their gym memberships. I already have canceled mine, and I'm sure a few of you have as well. Now in VR, the Quest store has a growing number of applications that are geared towards well-being, and many are dedicated fitness apps. One of them is Supernatural and FitXR, and there are dozens more, and it's a growing category. There are so many of these apps. There's even an association now that rates them according to their rating all these exercise apps. It's called the Virtual Reality Institute of Health and Exercise. Just in Supernatural alone, there's an approximately even split between men and women from 18-year-olds to 70 and 80-year-olds, as is seen in their Facebook group, which has over 45,000 participants. So, another show of hands. Who here is exercising in VR? Not as many, but some. Okay. Maybe even more interesting is the category of incidental fitness apps, which means you might not know that you're exercising in VR, because they're actually games that get you up and moving. And perhaps the most popular one of these is Beat Saber, which is, sort of seems like a precursor of things like Supernatural that uses the arms and the legs. So this is a great example of how the sheer fun of the game can be used to overcome your resistance to getting up and exercise and doing physical activity. And to help users to meet their goals for physical activity, there's the Move app, which is Quest's built-in fitness app, which tracks, in which you can set goals and track your calories and how many minutes you've moved across all of the VR apps. So there are also apps for other aspects of well-being, such as those that foster meditation. And as many of you know, Trip is really, pushing the envelope in XR wellness with an entirely new way to meditate in the metaverse. In fact, Trip has facilitated well over 4 million sessions to date. So one more question. Who has tried meditation in VR? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? It helps. All right. So why does VR work? There's a growing body of evidence that shows that VR works for engagement and for training the brain. It taps into more of our brain's learning systems than your typical digital media such as e-learning and mobile apps. And by immersing the user, it helps to increase focus and suspend their disbelief. We believe that the immersive, fun, and effective nature of VR can motivate people to adopt and maintain healthy behaviors, helping people to form habits that are good for them. In fact, habit building lends itself well to VR because it can be accessed anywhere, anytime. You don't have to go to the gym, you don't have to be in front of other people or mirrors. And in this way, VR can be a liberating experience if you want to be exercising, because it's just you and the virtual world, and you can focus on the moves and what makes your body feel good.
So as we think about well-being in VR as an employee benefit, Meta's always looked to introduce innovative ways to advance well-being for our employees. We offer a suite of benefits that now includes what we call Life at Choice, a reimbursement program that reimburses for personal well-being and fitness-related expenditures. Prior to COVID, most employers didn't actually allow reimbursement for tangible goods like home exercise equipment or fitness trackers, something our employees have actually been asking for years. In 2021, we decided to go ahead and make a major change in our policy. We not only allow fitness equipment to be reimbursable, but Meta leads the way by also allowing the Quest headset and different applications that promote health and well-being to be a part of the reimbursement program. So why is this? Real simple. VR apps and Quest can support both mental and physical well-being. We've been immersed by the number of employees using Life at Choice reimbursement for buying the Quest headset, and many of them are still actually making that reimbursement request and telling us more about the different apps that are available.
Well, before the pandemic, we were already living in a world where we were pretty stressed out by our work, our home life, and consumption of electronic media. And the pandemic came along and exacerbated this situation for people that were now in a work from home situation, where a larger percent of our work, and this was me too, a larger percent of our work was now through electronic media and less through human contact. And often people were forced in some unusual work from home situations that were not so comfortable. All of this created more stress. So with the increased need to manage workday stress, the question arose, can these VR well-being apps actually help with that challenge?
I can grab that.
So we decided to develop a pilot program to answer the question, can VR actually help with this? And test that hypothesis. The design of the program was to put together a collection of VR apps that would provide stress management, such as mindfulness and focus applications, including some puzzles and things like that, and then ask testers to use them consistently. We enlisted 50 employees to participate, and we provided everything that they needed to use the apps. And by the way, even in our company, not everybody's familiar with VR. So we did have to provide the headsets, the detailed instructions, a tech support community to make sure everybody could get in and use all these apps easily. We then ran the program for 30 days with these 50 people, and by the way, nobody dropped out. Every single person completed the program. We sought to find out through their self-reported stress levels and surveys whether this regimen would actually make an impact on their well-being. And the results? The survey results indicated that engaging in a VR for Wellbeing session, on average, was associated with a reduction in stress of 35%. Think about that. That is amazing for workday stress. And then, secondarily, the majority of the participants who completed the post-pilot survey reported that overall, the pilot program had a positive effect on their well-being, which we consider to be very, very significant.
So what do we want to do next? We've actually landed an expanded pilot, and we're actually doing 499 new headsets to confirm the results of VR for Wellbeing. After that's completed, we'll still be looking at the range of apps that might help on an ongoing basis. We're envisioning a day in which most people will have the access to VR and headsets. And we're considering this as a context of the future of work. If you're either in the office, remote, or cross-border, how do we use our technology to support the philosophy of meeting people where they're at? And I think it's also important that we're starting to think about how VR can enable well-being to be a part of everyday work. How do we almost make this a part of the prescription of what it is that they do so that they're managing their overall well-being and stress? And we want to do that regardless of how and where they're working.
Yes. And so the work that we've reported on today is the work of several teams. And we'd like to acknowledge the innovators within the LifeAt organization who visualize and imagine these particular programs. It's been really awesome to work with innovators like these so that we can put XR to work. We're very privileged to work with them. And I also think it's a real testament to Meta that our LifeAt organization is prioritizing and seizing the opportunity to use VR and all the ways that it can support employee well-being. So with that, we'd actually love to hear, there aren't that many people here, we'd love to hear what you think about making well-being a part of every workday through XR technology. So let's have a conversation. We'd love to hear your comments and questions. Yes, you can walk up to the mic.
Hi there.
Hi.
Great presentation. So question, when you were doing the pilot and now you're rolling it out, did you prescribe the apps that people use and when they use them, or was it a case of fill your boots up with whatever's available?
So I can go ahead and take that. Yes, we actually did prescribe them. So for those who were in the pilot, we let them know ahead of time what we were going to be doing, and we asked them to go ahead and participate in the Quest headset after 4 hours of work. And we asked them to do it 2 times a day for 10 minutes.
Into particular types of apps, so a meditation app or
Yes,
an exercise app?
There was a specific selection of apps that we gave them, And we made it so that that's all the headset had on it. So you could only use those 6 apps.
Yep.
Great.
And we have psychologists on our team who, within the benefits team, who are helping us think about the apps that we're using that we think are going to have the biggest and greatest impact.
So you can imagine if in the future providing a playlist for employers so that they could say, actually, if I wanted to adopt this,
Yes.
this is the...
That would be the vision.
That's exactly right. So in the second pilot, we're looking to confirm these results and learn a little bit more about which apps work better than others. And from that, then we'll look at, what's the range of apps we want to recommend in the future and what kind of package do we want to offer and how do we roll it out in practice?
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions. The first one kind of came off the back of his. With setting up the schedule with the participants of the pilot program, were they individual users that had different times throughout their day, or did you get them all together for like a classroom session at a set time?
They did it all on their own schedule.
This
Okay.
was
So they
all
were
work from
individual.
home. So we actually sent the headsets to them and they're still all working from home.
And the other question I had, I guess, is for the expanded pilot, do you have any sort of criteria for doing this outside of Meta for other companies? I don't know what sort of thing the expanded pilot looks like, but I'm trying to convince my job that things like this are significant and they do make an impact. So if you have those qualifications criteria posted anywhere, or if it's just reach out to you on LinkedIn, what is
Yeah,
the
you
best
can
way to
definitely
do that?
reach out. And did you want to say how we're expanding the pilot at all?
Yeah, so we're expanding it, as I said, to approximately 500 more people across particular parts of the organization.
Just in-
And we'll be running the pilot for 30 days to collect that feedback, to test the apps. We're also making sure that all of our results, which have been very directionally aspiring, are because of the use of the headset and making sure that that's working. For me, from a benefits professional perspective, I'm also looking to say, okay, longer term, as we have larger data groups of people, how do we potentially increase overall well-being, but also reduce our employee benefits spend, right? So how do we continue to pull that trend line down as we continue to see that increase at 6 to 7% per year?
Okay. Thank
So,
you.
But I'm happy to chat with you offline.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. So you had the stat of the 35% improvement. I didn't exactly get the full subtext, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering, can you provide some more context for how that statistic was measured? And also, was there any negative feedback or more constructive feedback that would leave you and your team opportunity for improvement going forward?
Do you want me to take it?
Sure.
Thank you.
So the 35% was literally the self-reported stress level before and after using each app. So every time people used it twice a day for 30 days, and it's 50 people. So that gave us a lot of data points on before and after the use of that particular app, and that's how we got that statistic. We did get, because it's such a small sample, we're not spelling out all these details, but we got a lot of data about which ones they used, which ones were preferred, which ones were less preferred. So, and yes, we did get some feedback, mostly I'd say from an operational standpoint, the logistics of sending out headsets and what additional information did people need to know to successfully do this. It was pretty smooth, but we always learn every time we do a pilot.
And I would say one of the other opportunities for us at Meta is using our workplace platform. So when we're doing pilots, we can create a group where our employees are giving us feedback. We do that traditionally in our benefits realm, but we do it also across other pilots that we're running. So we get that immediate feedback. If something's not working, it actually is really incorporated so we can continue to iterate and improve on the process regularly.
Any other comments, questions?
So
Hi.
whenever you all are doing these pilot studies, did you have like groups of people, like sort of like a control group where they didn't use a headset and did something like went outside for 5 minutes and took a walk or like meditated to like compare whether it's isolated to like VR improvements?
So that's actually part of what we're doing in the secondary pilot is making sure, again, that the Quest headset is what is driving the results, because the first group was such a small group. That's why we've expanded it to a larger number. And for a short period of time, we're going to try both processes to make sure that we're validating the measurements.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And that's part of our overall methodology, really, is we do kind of stepwise increasing in scale, starting very small. The first step you want is to make sure, is it even worth doing a bigger pilot? Is it worth rolling it out? And I think a lot of people get enchanted with the bright, shiny thing and maybe make bigger commitments. But we're very committed to validating results in a small scale. And then now that we had positive results, now we need to do a little more scientific validation. So that's the next step.
Thanks.
Well, so exciting, and I'm curious about your thoughts about how to grow this to your contractors. I know that probably many of them have to deal with challenging situations of reviewing material that might be on your website. So just curious about how do you grow this beyond Facebook? I mean, beyond Meta.
So that would definitely be one of my hopes. As we continue to expand the pilot and validate that it is, I actually have access to the different vendor partners who work with us. So what we do is we proactively are working with them. We have requirements around their contract and how they're supporting their employees from a health and well-being perspective. So for us, it's really about the influence, showing them the data that we're gathering through this and then bringing them along with us as a strategic partner.
I want to compliment you on sparking something that I think will catch on, because it's often the hesitation that many groups have to embrace new technology is who's done it first and has it worked for them. And it's just fantastic that you're moving deeply into this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, we have one more. Hello.
Hi. First of all, I just want to compliment you for your sort of forward-thinking ideas in this space. It's really exciting to see a company embracing that. I was recently reached out to by a journalist for Tech Monitor in the UK as an expert on future of work, and I was able to share with her some of my long-term vision for this space, and that's something, a conversation I would love to have with you right now. I think it's amazing that you're using the apps to kind of get people out of their normal routine and provide some well-being. The fact that you're at Meta and you have access to the virtual world, I see a future where these activities, sort of wellness activities, are more integrated into the day-to-day workspace in sort of a virtual workspace. And because you're at the forefront of this, it would be really exciting to have a further conversation with you about how to think about those things. There are very few companies out there that I think are in a place to think so far ahead and really implement them. So that's really exciting. And if you wouldn't mind, I was talking to somebody at the cocktail hour last night that has a product that you might be interested in. You were saying that a lot of your results were self-reported, and there's a software integration that's come out where you can actually get the data and not rely on self-reporting or confirm it. And so in case that's helpful, I'd be happy to connect you, just because I feel like these results are phenomenal, and any data that you can have to kind of support amazing things you're doing would be great. So really more of a comment than a question, but thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're constantly scouting for the new technologies. That's one of the reasons that we're here, not only to speak, but also to listen and find out what's going on in the forefront of the field. And I think the one discipline that we have is we're problem-oriented. We're looking for where can we use these technologies to really make our employees' well-being better, but also our productivity. How can we positively disrupt our workflows and to the benefit of the company? So.
Absolutely.
Are we at time? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.